Black woman dragged from a bus and stabbed by white men. Kent, Washington. 43-year-old black woman was stabbed multiple times after two white men allegedly dragged her off a city bus in what the Kent Police Department said was a racially motivated attack. The woman thankfully survived the March 7th stabbing, which was just outside the doors of a metro bus that rolled to a stop on Central Avenue South. Victim's identity was withheld by officials after the suspects threatened her during the bus ride, saying they did not like black people. Horrific. Let's go to this photo. The King County Metro bus stop in Kent. It shows the general area where a 43-year-old woman was stabbed. The attack took place in front of multiple witnesses who later gave statements to authorities, provided video evidence of the unprovoked attack. With no way to protect herself, the woman turned to the bus driver for help, urging him to call the police. Moments later, the two white men quickly elbowed past the other passengers and caught up with the woman at the front of the bus before one of the men grabbed her by the arm and pulled her off at the next stop. Once outside, one of the men punched the woman several times before a pocket knife was used to stab her repeatedly, according to police. And a Black Star with the details. Authorities arrived on scene within minutes, but the suspects got away briefly. The woman, a Kent resident, avoided life-threatening injuries because she had on a thick coat, which apparently protected her during the vicious assault. She was treated at the hospital for minor injuries and released. Now, investigators. They later determined that the second suspect did not participate in the stabbing or the beating of the woman, but he was charged with obstruction after he allegedly tried to interfere in the arrest of his partner, who was discovered hiding under a car along a residential street in Kent. What a coward. Placed in handcuffs. He remains in the King County Jail while facing second-degree assault and hate crime charges. Bail set, $250,000. Second suspect being held at the Kent City Corrections Facility. Neither suspect has been named by authorities, who identified the men as a 22-year-old from Maple Valley, Washington, and a 22-year-old from Auburn, Washington. You know, I don't know why bail set at all. And we need the names now because anybody who would do something so egregious perhaps has done it before. The public needs to know about this in case there's other things that surely need to be investigated. Let's give you the statement to the Seattle Times. Kent Police Chief Rafael Padilla said, "I'm infuriated by the blatant, hateful, racially motivated attack on the victim. I want to say this in the strongest way that I can. Hate crimes will not be tolerated. If you commit a hate crime in our city, KPD will be relentless in our pursuit of bringing you to justice." Bravo. In early March, Washington state lawmakers approved a new emergency hotline to assist people who have been targeted by hate crimes and bias incidents, which is expected to be fully operational by 2027. Let's speed that up. Under Washington law, a hate crime occurs when an individual deliberately inflicts harm or damage on another person because of their race, color, religion, ancestry, national origin, gender, sexual orientation, gender expression, or identity or disability. Now, the state established the hate crimes as a category in 2019, while the law also covers hate-related threats that cause victims to fear for their safety. These crimes are considered felonies punishable by up to 5 years in prison. Washington police reported 590 hate crimes to the FBI. That was in 2022, compared to 651 in 2021, 462 in 2020. And in 2022, 63% of the state's hate crimes were related to race, ethnicity, or ancestry. 18% were related to sexual orientation. 10% were related to religion. This is so scary, yes. A woman who doesn't know her assailants, who's pulled off a city bus. How brazen, in front of witnesses who are reporting, and only the coat spares this victim from having deeper stab wounds. This is who we are, fully, I guess.
Yeah, this kind of makes me think. So I was born in the late 80s in a very multi-ethnic town. So I went to school with a lot of Black students, Puerto Ricans, white people, whoever. So this was after the civil rights movement, obviously, but the 90s weren't without their race-related violence, as I'm sure you know. I was just too young at the time to know what was going on. But I remember learning about the civil rights movement in elementary school. And again, maybe like a third of my classmates were Black. And my mind was completely blown at the way Black people were treated just a few decades earlier. But there was this feeling of, well, I'm glad things are better now, and I'm glad we've learned, and I'm glad things will only go up from here. And even though I'm like grown ish now, I still find it very heartbreaking that we as a
Mhm.
culture are apparently backsliding into deeper divisions, but more so because it makes you wonder if things ever were better or if we were just better at hiding it.
Yeah.
I don't want to make this all about Trump, but you have to admit that during the Trump years, he definitely said things and emboldened people to bring out a lot of their prejudices that were apparently laying low for a long time.
Yeah. I couldn't agree with you more. I think we have to continue to look at the effects of 45 and the lies, the misogyny, the sexism, and oh, yeah, the racism that is being pushed daily by his ilk. He's the leader of it. This is disgusting. And I do think that bail, I don't get it. But then again, at least they're trying something, that jurisdiction in Washington, at least they're trying.
Mhm.
And I think the chief statement is one I can finally not, my lunch is settling and I'm not going to bring it back up.